All right, everyone, welcome back to Talk Tickers.
Yes, welcome back.
Today we're diving headfirst into Halliburton's latest earnings call.
We are.
And let me tell you, there's a lot to unpack here.
Absolutely.
A lot to unpack.
It's fascinating to see how a company like Halliburton is navigating this, shifting energy industry.
It's like they're walking this tightrope between acknowledging the changing energy landscape.
Totally.
But also doubling down on oil and gas.
Exactly. They closed out the year with a cool $22.9 billion in revenue.
Nice.
And a lot of that growth is coming from international markets.
Okay, interesting.
Which is interesting considering all the talk about the energy transition.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Halliburton isn't just sitting back and riding the oil wave.
Right.
They're making some strategic moves.
Okay. Spill the tea.
Well, they're investing heavily in technology.
Makes sense.
They see it as their secret weapon for staying ahead of the curve and delivering value to customers.
Yeah. Efficiency is the name of the game these days.
It is.
So what kind of tech are we talking about?
So they highlighted a couple of key innovations.
Okay.
Octave auto frack and Sensori.
Ooh, those sound cool.
Yeah. Think of them as the Ferraris of the oil field.
Okay.
Designed to squeeze every last drop of efficiency out of their operations.
I love a good metaphor.
I know, right?
So are these technologies just fancy prototypes?
Yeah.
Or are they actually out there making a difference?
They are definitely out there in the field working their magic.
Okay.
In fact, over half of Halliburton's most advanced drilling rigs are already using Octave auto frack.
Wow.
And they deployed Sensori on a massive scale last quarter.
So they're not messing around.
Nope.
They're really committed to this innovation.
They are.
Okay, so where is this all leading?
Right.
What's Halliburton's long-term game plan?
So they have identified 4 key areas where they see massive growth potential drilling technologies, which is a no-brainer given their history.
Right.
Unconventional.
Like shale and tight oil.
Exactly. Okay. Well, intervention.
Keep those wells flowing.
Yes, keep those wells flowing smoothly.
Got it.
And finally, artificial lift.
Okay.
Which is all about maximizing production from mature wells.
So it sounds like they're going all in on their strengths.
Yeah.
But also positioning themselves for the future of oil and gas.
Precisely. And they're projecting that these 4 areas could add a whopping $2.5 to $3 billion in annual revenue.
Wow.
Within the next 3 to 5 years.
That's a lot of money.
That's a game changer.
Even for a company the size of Halliburton.
Even for a company the size of Halliburton.
Wow. Okay, so those are some ambitious goals.
Yeah.
What makes them so sure they can pull this off?
Well, first off, they've got this deep well of technology and experience to draw from.
Right.
Secondly, they're laser focused on building strong partnerships with their customers.
So moving from a transactional relationship to a real collaboration.
Exactly. They want to work together to solve problems and optimize production.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And they even highlighted their work in Norway.
Yes.
As an example of this collaborative approach.
Spot on.
Okay.
They're really pushing this idea of working hand in hand with customers to develop tailored solutions.
That's smart.
It is a smart move because in an industry this complex and ever-changing as energy, you need those strong partnerships to stay ahead.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got the tech, we've got the collaboration.
Yes.
Sounds like a winning formula.
It does.
Let's talk about where they're actually putting this into action.
Okay.
First up, international markets.
Ah, yes, the land of opportunity.
Right.
Halliburton had a banner year overseas with revenue up 6% year over year.
6%?
Yeah.
But it sounds like 2025 might be a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're expecting some slowdown in Mexico, which could put a damper on those international growth numbers.
True. Mexico is a bit of a question mark right now.
Okay.
There's a new administration in place, and there's been a shakeup at Pemex, their national oil company.
Right.
It's creating some uncertainty.
Yeah. I can imagine that makes things tricky for Halliburton.
It does.
Are they throwing in the towel on Mexico, though?
Not at all.
Okay.
They're still optimistic about the long-term potential there.
Okay.
They emphasize that oil and gas are vital to Mexico's economy.
Right.
So they're betting that activity will pick up again once the dust settles.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So while things are cooling off a bit in Mexico, what's the story in North America?
Okay.
They saw a revenue dip of 8% last year.
Right.
And it sounds like they're bracing for another decline in 2025.
Yeah, they're projecting a smaller drop this time around, somewhere in the low to mid-single digits.
Okay.
But here's the twist. Even with this projected decline, they're completely sold out in North America.
Wait, what? How does that even work?
I know.
They're expecting revenue to go down, but they're fully booked.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, but it speaks to the dynamics of the North American market.
Okay.
They're seeing a potential rebound in gas-driven activity.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me about this gas-driven rebound.
Well, first off, there's a growing demand for LNG exports.
Okay.
As countries around the world are looking for cleaner alternatives to coal.
Right.
And secondly, you've got the increasing electrification of the economy.
Yeah.
With everything from cars to homes running on electricity.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
More demand for electricity means more demand for natural gas.
Exactly.
Which is where Halliburton comes in.
Exactly. And they're perfectly positioned to capitalize on this trend with their technology, their expertise in unconventional gas production.
Right.
And their strong relationships with major North American customers.
Okay, so it sounds like their strategy in North America is to ride out this temporary dip in revenue while banking on a gas-fueled resurgence in the near future.
That's the gist of it, and they're expecting margins to improve in the second half of the year.
Okay.
As tool sales stabilize and intervention activity picks up,
Okay.
they're playing the long game,
Yeah.
and they seem pretty confident about the outcome.
Okay, so taking a step back, it sounds like Halliburton's in a pretty good spot overall. They've got a solid international growth story. They're sold out in North America.
Yeah.
They're betting big on technology and gas as the future of energy.
Right.
But is there anything that could throw a wrench in their plans?
Well, there's always the elephant in the room.
Okay, what's that?
Pricing pressure.
Yeah.
Analysts were grilling Jeff Miller, Halliburton's CEO, about how they plan to maintain margins in a competitive market.
Yeah, that's a valid concern, especially in North America where prices have been under pressure.
Right.
So what's Miller's take on all this?
He didn't shy away from the question. He acknowledged that pricing pressure is a reality. But he emphasized that they're not going to compromise on their strategy of delivering exceptional value and getting paid accordingly.
So they're not going to get into a race to the bottom on price.
Exactly. They're betting on their technology and their expertise to differentiate themselves.
Okay.
And command a premium. And remember, they're completely sold out.
Right.
Which gives them leverage in negotiations.
Okay, so they're standing firm on price. But is that a sustainable strategy in the long run?
Well, Miller seems to think so.
Okay.
He's betting that as the market tightens, pricing will eventually move back up.
Okay.
And he even hinted that the next big catalyst for North American services could be an uptick in activity.
Okay.
Driven by increased demand for natural gas.
Now, that would be a game changer.
It would.
Especially if Halliburton is right about this looming power shortage they keep talking about.
Yeah, they're predicting that the combination of electrification and the rise of AI is going to put a huge strain on the power grid.
Right.
And they see natural gas as a key solution.
Okay, talk about a perfect storm for a company specializing in gas extraction.
Right.
But hold on a second.
Yeah.
Didn't they also mention something about getting into the power generation business themselves?
Yes, that's right.
Really?
They have this subsidiary called VoltaGrid.
VoltaGrid?
Which is already providing power solutions in the Permian Basin.
Okay.
One of the hottest oil and gas regions in the U.S.
Whoa. That's a whole new dimension to their business.
If it is.
Are they serious about this, or is it just a side hustle?
Well, it's definitely more than a side hustle.
Okay.
They've been investing heavily in VoltaGrid, and they see it as a key part of their long-term growth strategy.
Okay, this is getting really interesting.
Yeah.
So they're betting on gas as the future of energy. They're getting into the power generation business themselves, and they're developing cutting-edge technology to make it all happen.
And let's not forget about their commitment to returning value to shareholders.
Oh, right.
They returned $1.6 billion in 2024.
Wow.
Through stock buybacks and dividends.
Yeah, that's a nice little bonus for investors.
It is.
It shows they're not just focused on growth, but they're also thinking about how to reward the people who are backing them.
Exactly. And they're planning to do the same in 2025.
Nice.
That kind of consistency is reassuring. It speaks to their financial discipline and their confidence in the future.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Halliburton is coming off a strong year. They're bullish on international growth.
Yeah.
They're sold out in North America. They're betting big on technology and gas. And they're even getting into the power generation game.
Right.
I'm starting to see why they're so confident about the future.
Me too. It's clear they have a well-defined strategy, and they're executing it with precision.
Yeah.
They're not just reacting to market trends.
Right.
They're actively shaping the future of energy.
Okay, but let's be real for a second.
Okay.
It's all very impressive.
Yeah.
But are there any potential pitfalls or risks
Sure.
that we should be aware of?
Well, as with any investment, there are always risks to consider.
Of course.
The energy landscape is incredibly complex and constantly evolving.
Right.
Geopolitical factors, technological disruptions, regulatory changes, and even unforeseen events like natural disasters
Right.
could all impact Halliburton's business.
Right. Those are all valid points. And even though they seem to be managing pricing pressure effectively for now, that could always change.
Absolutely.
If the market takes a downturn.
It's important to remember that no investment is foolproof.
Right. Okay. So before we wrap things up, let's shift gears and have a little fun.
Okay.
It's time for our This Is Not Financial Advices segment,
Yes.
where we let our imaginations run wild
I love this part.
and explore some of the more speculative and out there possibilities that emerged from this earnings call.
Let's get those creative juices flowing. What
Yeah.
wild idea do you have brewing?
Remember VoltaGrid,
Voltigrid, yeah.
Halliburton's power generation play in the Permian Basin? What if this becomes more than just a side hustle? What if VoltaGrid turns into like the hidden gem
Okay.
in Halliburton's portfolio?
Interesting.
Their secret weapon for dominating the energy landscape of the future.
Oh, I like where you're going with this. Let's
Yeah.
unpack that.
So Halliburton is already providing power solutions in the Permian,
They are.
which is facing a major energy crunch as we speak.
Yeah.
And with the electrification trend in full swing,
Yeah.
that demand for power is only going to skyrocket.
Absolutely.
And who's better positioned to ride that wave
Right.
than the company that's already deeply embedded in the oil and gas industry?
Yeah, they've got the expertise, the infrastructure, the relationships.
They could become a major player
Yeah.
in this space.
It's a brilliant strategy.
Is?
They could leverage their existing footprint in the Permian
Right.
to build out a robust power generation network.
Imagine Halliburton not just extracting oil and gas,
Yeah.
but like powering the entire industry.
Right. Like a one-stop shop for all things energy.
It's a bold vision.
It is.
It's a little crazy.
But
But hey, this is not financial advices segment.
yeah,
So
we're allowed to be a little
let's
crazy.
embrace the craziness.
Okay, I'm with you.
What if VoltaGrid becomes so successful
Okay.
that it surpasses Halliburton's core oil and gas business?
Whoa.
We're talking a complete transformation of the company
Right.
from an oil field services giant to a clean energy powerhouse.
Okay, that's a wild thought. But I mean, it's not entirely implausible.
Not at all. We're already seeing this massive shift
Right.
towards renewable energy and electrification.
Yeah.
And Halliburton, with their expertise in power generation and their deep understanding of the energy market, could be perfectly positioned to lead this transition.
That's true.
Okay, I'm officially on board with this crazy train of thought.
Okay.
Imagine Halliburton,
Yeah.
the company that's synonymous with oil and gas,
Right.
becoming the poster child for the clean energy revolution.
The irony would be
Yeah,
delicious.
yeah.
The headlines would write themselves. Halliburton. From fracking to green energy.
What a story.
It would be a stunning turnaround.
Okay, let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Okay.
We're obviously having some fun here, and this is all pure speculation.
Right.
We're not saying that VoltaGrid is guaranteed to be the next Tesla or anything,
Of course not.
but it's definitely a development worth watching.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that the energy landscape is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And companies that can anticipate and adapt to those changes will be the ones that thrive.
So there you have it, folks. A deep dive into Halliburton's Q4 2024 earnings call.
Yes.
We covered a lot of ground today,
Did.
from their strong financial performance to their bullish outlook on international growth and their strategic bets on technology and natural gas.
We even took a little detour into the realm of speculation,
Yes, we did.
exploring the wild possibility of VoltaGrid becoming a major growth driver for Halliburton in the future.
But one thing's for sure. Halliburton's not afraid to embrace change and position itself for long-term success in a rapidly evolving energy landscape.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's going to be fascinating to see how their story unfolds in the years to come.
It will be.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
Thank you.
Till next time, keep those earnings calls coming.
Yes.
And remember,
Always.
always do your own research.